It's about 5 minutes past, so given the fact we're in Utah, I think we're still a little bit early getting started, but I want to welcome those of you who are here. My name is Russell Lookadoo. I'm the HR guy for small business. I'm the president of HR Architecture, and I wanted to get this information in front of my clients and other people I know here in the Salt Lake area, because this software and this solution that you're going to see in the next few minutes is one of the most innovative ways, in my opinion, to get your business in a position where you get the most out of your employees and create a better life for yourself. One of my mantras is that when you delegate, people have to clearly understand not only what it is they need to do, when they need to do it, but how to do it. And this linkage of processes and expectations and job descriptions and evaluations is unparalleled. I met Michael Mills through LinkedIn, and we've been corresponding and working together for close to a year now. I have a handful of clients who are using this process and this tool, and they've each found it to different degrees, but for the most part extremely useful, and I personally think it's fantastic. So if you have any questions, please hold those to the end. If you can't wait, just raise your hand or put the question in the box. When a question comes up, go ahead and put it in the box, but we're going to tend to hold the questions to the end unless it can't wait. But with no further ado, Michael, it's all yours.
Great. Thank you very much, Russell. And so I want to begin with a situation. Do any of you have key people in your organization that if they left, it would be a difficult situation? So what if one of your key people handed in their notice later on today? What would that be like? What would that feel like? What if you actually had a hiring system? What if you had a training system? You could actually bring them on, and you had a really easy way to hire someone. You had a really easy way to train them. And what if you had a management system? You had all of these processes. How would that make you feel? A lot of times when Russell and I are talking with people, they feel handcuffed by their employees because they're not doing a good job, and they just hang on because they just can't deal with having to hire someone and train someone new. There is a huge opportunity cost to this situation. So if you have a hiring system, a training system, a management system, this is what it means to systemize your business. How you do things is carefully documented, implemented, and innovated to make things better in your business. Now, I'm sure you all know this, but the challenge is how. How do you do this? How do you systemize your business? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. As Russell said, my name's Michael Mills. I'm one of the founders of Business Design Corporation. For those of you on the call today who are familiar with Michael Gerber and the eMyth Mastery Program, our company has been a group of master certified eMyth consultants for 17 years. We delivered Michael Gerber's eMyth Mastery Program to many hundreds of businesses. And what we found was that while we were delivering very good business theory, very few of our mastery clients were actually getting their procedures and job descriptions documented, which in our minds was the very point of the program. So we went about working on a way to make eMyth theory practical, to create a very simple way for systemizing a business, a way to put eMyth theory into practice. Now, Gerber's books have sold millions of copies throughout the world, but almost everyone we speak with has been unable to, quote, systemize their business. Not long ago, for example, I was a keynote speaker at a conference of state farm insurance agencies. I had 300 business owners in the room. I asked the question, put your hand up if you've read Michael Gerber's book, The eMyth Revisited. Almost every single business owner in that room put their hand up. And then I said, leave your hand up if you've been able to fully systemize your business. Every single person put their hand down except one. And when I spoke to that individual at the end of the presentation, he told me he was a consultant to insurance agencies and he had a whole series of processes for helping them systemize their business. Why is that? Why is it that almost everyone we speak to knows they need systems, but nobody's been able to do it? And you've probably known this for years. This is not a new concept. Well, we believe that there are two key reasons. The first is the lack of a systems development plan, and the second is the lack of a systems development tool. So we're going to focus on these two key issues in today's presentation. The reason is because if you can focus on these two issues and systemize your business, you'll be able to achieve true business freedom. And that can look like one of three different ways. One we call calling in for the numbers from the British Virgin Islands. There's an alliance of ours named Scott Fritz who wrote this great book called The 40-Hour Work Year. And basically, he calls in for the numbers. He has a strategic planning meeting once a year. He has strategic goal-setting meetings quarterly, and that's about it. The rest of the time, everybody does what they're supposed to do, and he just tracks the numbers. A second possibility is you want to sell your business, but you want to maximize the value of your business so that you can sell it for what it's worth. In many cases, people don't get what their businesses are worth. There's another great book that I highly recommend by a gentleman named John Warillo. It's called Built to Sell. Great book. That's a story about an insurance agent. It's an advertising company who wants to sell his business because he's entirely burned out. And he goes to a consultant to help him sell his business, and the consultant, even though he's doing $1.5 million annually in sales, the consultant says your business is worthless. Who would want your job? But if your business is fully systematized, you can maximize the value because people can see it for the opportunity that it is. And the third, this is what probably many of you are interested in. How do you continue to do what you love to do in your business without having to do all of those things that you don't enjoy doing, knowing full well that all of those things that you don't like doing are being done well by somebody else? This is an interesting statistic. Studies show that employees retain approximately 18% of what you tell them when you are training them by way of what we call the show and tell method, which is how most people train. They basically talk. Do this and then do this and then do this and then do this. People will retain less than 20%. They're thinking about other things. They're thinking about a question they want to ask, or they're thinking about maybe the date they had the night before. But what they aren't thinking about are the intricacies of what you're telling them. Without a documented procedure, they're going to remember less than a fifth of what you're teaching them, and the rest they're going to make up. The result? The employee doesn't achieve what is expected of them, and they quit, or they get fired, or worse still, the owner fails to fire them, and there is this huge opportunity cost that I spoke of earlier. Brad Smart, in his book called Top Grading, he writes that the opportunity cost of a failed hire can be 10 times the value of their salary. More than anything, though, it is just frustrating. It's frustrating for the employer, it's frustrating for the new hire, and it's frustrating for all of the employees in the organization. What we say is that for every frustration in your company, it is the result of the lack of a process. Don't blame the employees. Don't blame yourself. Blame the fact that you do not have a set of documented instructions that someone in that position could follow. A set of instructions that tells them exactly what you need them to do and what you expect of them when they do it. And they need to be able to find these instructions easily. And when they find them, they have to be current. They have to be up to date. If you have documented procedures and if you implement them effectively, it will dramatically change this employee retention statistic of 18%, which is why you can get a double decaf, half calf, cocoa, mocha, grande, caramel, cinnamon, dolce latte with 1/3 milk, 2/3 whole. I don't even know if that's a real drink at Starbucks, but if it is, you could get it in Alberta, Canada, in Cupertino, California, or Mumbai, India. You could get it anywhere in the world, and it will always taste the same. Doesn't matter where you purchase it. But what do I mean by documented procedures? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, I've got my policy manual." And there's a difference between policies and procedures. I think it's important to distinguish this because so often they're tied together. Policies are the high-level overall plans that embrace the general goals and directives of an organization. So these are typically topics dealing with employee discipline, decision-making, behavior, things like dress code, harassment, cell phone use, things like that. Procedures, on the other hand, are the step-by-step instructions with expectations, or key performance indicators, to accomplish whatever it is that needs to be done by each employee in every department in your organization. Now, a company might have a procedure for qualifying a new lead, for doing an initial consultation, for delivering a product or service, for following up, for onboarding a new employee, for collections. All of these would be procedures. Procedures help employees and managers do what they need to do to be able to achieve a consistent and reliable result. So as an example, a policy, this is actually true. I was doing another presentation in Lethbridge, Alberta to a group of HR consultants, and this was back in October of last year, and I went online to get an example of a Starbucks policy. And Starbucks announced, this was back in October of 2014, Starbucks announced that it had changed its dress code, and they will now allow employees to show non-offensive visible tattoos as long as they are not on the face and throat, which is why this will not be an employee working at a Starbucks near you anytime soon. On the other hand, an example of a procedure, these would be the detailed steps taken to make that double decaf, half calf, coca mocha, grande, caramel, cinnamon, dolce latte. If I was a barista at a Starbucks organization, I would have a documented set of step-by-step instructions on how to make this very complicated concoction. So the presentation today is focused on processes, procedures, because I believe these are what are missing in most small and mid-sized organizations. The challenge is, how do you get these written? How do you keep them current? How do you actually find them when you need them, and how do you get your employees to follow them? If any of you have tried to systemize your business, you have come up against these challenges. For example, let's say that you're writing a sales process. You begin by writing down the detailed sequential workflow. Do this, then do that, then do this. It's what we call a work plan. And you might think that that's all there is, right? It's just a clearly written document outlining all of the steps it takes. So you might write this all down in Microsoft Word. You might share it on your network. You might put it in Google Docs or Dropbox. And then you train your sales team, and then you think, it would be great if I had a checklist to track each step of the sales process so I could see where my sales team is on each of the projects. So you create a checklist. And now you create another Word document. So now you have a work plan, all the detailed descriptions, and you have a checklist that they check off, and you teach them how to go through the project. Then, as you're listening to your sales team deliver this new sales process to their prospects, you realize they're all saying different things. And some of them are saying really great things, and others are saying things that are not so great. And you think, I should create a script of the best things to say, and then I'll workshop it with all of my sales staff. And that way everyone will be performing well. So now you write a script, and now your sales process has 3 documents. It has the work plan, it has a checklist, and it has a script. And now is when you start thinking, well, where am I going to store all these different Word documents so it's going to be easy for my team to find them when they need them? But usually what happens is you think, well, I'm too busy to think about that now. I'll get to that later, and you never do. Then a little bit later, you realize that your sales staff really needs a proposal document, some easy and consistent way to generate proposals. And then you want to create a proposal template in Word and an Excel spreadsheet for calculating consistent and accurate estimates and delivering them in a consistent way. And then you think it'd be great to have a training video. Russell and I were just talking about this earlier. He's got a client, a Touchstone client who's got very complex spreadsheets, and he's finding it very difficult to teach his people how to go through and create these spreadsheets. So he's creating a video of it. It's a training video, a screen recording of the process of creating the proposal, and maybe there's even a sample audio attached to that so that they could hear what a great presentation might sound like. And now your sales process, it has a work plan. It's got a checklist. It's got a script. It's got a Word document. It's got a spreadsheet. It's got a training video. It's got an audio recording. I'm probably like overwhelming you right now as I say this, but it doesn't need to be overwhelming. But I will tell you that a process is rarely as simple as just a clearly written document outlining the steps that need to be taken. And that's why so many business owners fail in this process of documenting procedures and getting them implemented. It's just not all there is. It's just not one document. There's always so much more, and they don't know how to do it. So given there's so much more to it than just a document, how do you organize these different elements for the same process? How does your staff find them when they need to use them? How do you keep them current to be sure that everyone is always using the most current version? What's the solution? How do you make policies and procedures living, organic documents that are tools used in the everyday activities of a business? I mean, so many companies know they need them, but so few companies do it well. I mentioned earlier that we really talk about two things. It's a systems development plan for getting processes written and implemented, and it really does help to have a systems development tool that could make it easy to consistently write and organize the procedures so that they can be kept current, and so employees can find the procedures when they need them. And Russell referenced this earlier. He talked about the Touchstone tool. I'm going to show you that at the end of the presentation. But we're really going to focus on the systems development plan, and you don't need Touchstone to do this. It's just that in 17 years of doing this, we know that Touchstone makes it much, much easier to do it. But let's start with the plan. We've developed a 5-step systems development plan, and we use the systems development plan to discover, prioritize, document, implement, and manage all of the processes in your business. And there are 5 steps. The first step, actually, it's not really about a system at all. It's about understanding your destination. What's your business going to look like 3, 5, or maybe even 7 years from now? I mean, what we say here is if you don't know where you're going, how are you ever going to get there? And, you know, that might sound facetious, but it's not. If you don't know where you're going, how on earth are you ever going to get there? Step number 2 is about creating a graphic representation of what that destination is going to look like. And this is what's going to become your organizational chart. In step number 3, you will define the processes that you think are necessary in your organization as it exists now and as it exists in the future. How will you generate sales? How will you deliver on the promises that you made in that sales process? What back office procedures are going to be going on behind the scenes, like hiring, firing, payroll, invoicing, collections, backing up your computers, all of the administrative and financial activities? How will you guide and manage the business from where you are today to where you want to get to? In this step, you're not actually describing how each process is done. That will come later. In this step, you are just naming what needs to be done. In step number 4, you will start connecting these processes to those boxes on your org chart. So think about this. You've identified everything that needs to be done in the business. You've identified all of the positions that you'll need in the business. And now you've connected everything that needs to be done to all of the positions. I mean, it's really, really powerful. You've created complete functional accountability. Everything that needs to be done in the business is now being done by someone on your organizational chart. Very, very powerful step to have taken. And finally, in step 5, you'll start to prioritize these procedures. You might have 500 procedures. but there is a small percentage of them that need to be written now. They need to be written as soon as possible. And you might also say, well, who's going to help me write them? Because this is not something that you are required to do by yourself as the business owner. It's really a culture that you want to develop in your organization of valuing processes and following processes. Now, almost every business owner I speak to will ask me, well, how long is this going to take to systemize my business? It's important to know that systemizing your business is not a project. Processes are created gradually. Gradually, your business will accumulate more and more processes. Systemizing your business is a process. It's an evolution. And the actual writing of your procedures is ongoing because it really never ends, because processes change, they innovate. And the 5-step systems development plan doesn't get you to a place where all of your procedures are written and finished, and that is that. So this, going through those 5 steps takes about 4 to 6 hours, maybe at the most 10 hours, at the end of which you will have the complete systemic infrastructure of your business created. But all of the processes are not yet written. They're just organized, and you're ready to get them written. Think about where you're at when you get to the end of that 5-step. You are very clear on your vision. You have a clear understanding of all of the positions and processes that you need to be able to achieve your vision. You've created what we call complete functional accountability. You have position-specific operating manuals for every position on your organizational chart. And you have a prioritized plan for getting all of those procedures written. This is a hugely powerful series of steps to have taken. Let's go through that. How do you do that? The first step then is to define your destination. What is your business going to look like 5 years from now? This is such a critical step. Studies show that if you do this and you take action and track and communicate the process that you're making on this vision, you have a 300% better chance of achieving your goals than if you do not take this step. But so few business owners actually do it. I mean, you might ask yourself the question, do I really know where I'm going? Do I know what my business is going to look like in 5 to 7 years? And in many cases, people don't. And the reason is because they don't know how to do it, and they need some guidance. What we typically say is a vision has 3 key things. It has purpose, values, and mission. Your purpose and values, they are enduring. They last forever. That's who you are. They're not an aspiration. They're an articulation of who you are. Your mission, on the other hand, is your big, hairy, audacious goal. So the first step you want to do is you want to identify your purpose. Why do you exist? Why did you decide to start this business? What are you wanting or needing to get from the business? What do you do? And why do you do it? You must understand the why of your business. And you have a why. You've just probably not gone far enough to document it. A sample purpose might be to create a technology that makes process development and implementation for business owners, as well as professionals who are consulting with business owners, such that small businesses can flourish and thrive. This is actually our purpose. We are in business to help you thrive. I want to change your lives. I want to get you to a place where you're calling in for the numbers from the British Virgin Islands. And we've done it time and time again. You want to come up with your purpose. Why do you do what you do? There's got to be a reason. Values. How do you go about doing business? What do you hold sacred in your organization? And these are 9 values that we offer as a sample set of values. We empower entrepreneurs. We do what we say we will do. We listen, we care, we serve. We practice open and real communication. We face challenges with optimism. We leave our egos at the door. We innovate and constantly improve. We do the right thing. We believe in people and their dreams. These are the values that every single person in my company must abide by. They must own these values. And then finally, remember there's purpose, mission, and values. That mission is that big, hairy, audacious goal. Where do you want to be in 3 or 5 years? What's your big, hairy, audacious goal? What are you intending to accomplish? A sample, this is our goal, is to be one of the essential applications business owners need to easily plan and manage their businesses successfully, and to be recognized as one of the market leaders in this field among business owners with 100,000 subscribers worldwide. I have no idea how we're going to achieve this, but every year we have an annual meeting and we review it. And we say, what are we going to do this year to achieve this 3 to 5 year or 7 year goal? This is how you create a strategic vision. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to create a picture of what this business is going to look like when it's fully developed. What's it going to look like graphically? Now that you have this destination defined, this vision, how many salespeople are you going to need? How many client fulfillment people are you going to need? How many back office support people will you need? How many managers will manage all these people? In step number 2, you're going to create your org chart. So I have a question for you. How many of you currently have an org chart? Is it current? Final question, how do you use your org chart? Because a lot of people do org charts as an assignment that was given to them from a consultant. And they have it, but they don't keep it current. They don't really use it. I mean, yeah, maybe it shows people who reports to who, but they don't really use the org chart as a strategic planning and a strategic growth tool. So the next step then is all about naming the procedures in your business. You know, what are all of the processes that you have for achieving your vision? And in this step, I want you to think about your business in a slightly new way. I want you to rise above the landscape of your business and think of your business as having 4 key functions. Getting the business, these are all of your sales and marketing systems. Doing the business, these are all of the systems for delivering on the promise that you made during the sales process. So these are systems for client fulfillment, production, customer service, all of the systems that directly relate to what you do for your clients. Running the business, these are the systems that go on behind the scenes, things like invoicing, paying your bills, collections, hiring, firing, preparing financial statements, backing up your computers, essentially all of the financial, administrative, human resource, and IT type systems. And finally, guiding the business, these are the strategic processes for leading, managing, and guiding the business from where you are today to where you want to get to. So in the simplest of terms, there are 4 key functions, 4 activities that happen in every business. It doesn't matter whether you're a Whole Foods grocery store or a chiropractor. You've got to get the business. You've got to deliver on the promise. You've got to do all these back office operational processes, and you've got to guide and manage the process. So let's actually go through an exercise, and I'm going to need your input on this. Let's go through an exercise of naming some processes. In this exercise, I'm just going to pull up a spreadsheet. You'll notice down here that I created 4 tabs in this worksheet. Getting the business, so these will be all your sales systems. Doing the business, these will be your client fulfillment, customer service process. Running the business, these will be finance, admin, HR, IT. Guiding the business, these will be strategy and management. If you could help me identify processes that you use right now for generating new leads. Type into the box to the GoToMeeting control panel. What are some processes that you use for generating leads? So someone says direct mail. Great. That's great. That's something that is coming back, by the way. Presentations. Someone writes presentations. What else? What are some other processes? Someone says doing, what is that? Yeah, email marketing. Good. Someone else writes referrals. In this first step of the business systemization plan, all you're doing is you're naming your processes. After you generate a lead, what do you do? Someone's writing first appointment. That's what we do. It's like a consultation, what we do. Someone else is writing proposals, estimates, right? And then they present the proposal. Nice. Great. This is great. This is how you think systematically. Step by step, we go through the process. And how do you retain clients? Newsletters, right. That's a great one. All we've done here is we've started to identify processes. That's all we have to do. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go into doing the business. What do we do for client fulfillment? What do we do for customer service? What do we do for admin, finance, HR, IT? You know, we've got to back up the computers. We've got hiring people. We've got firing people. We've got collections. We've got invoicing. We've got accounts receivable. We've got accounts payable. Oops. AP. All of these things. This is all you do in the first step of the systems development plan. In the business systemization kit that I sent to you earlier, there are links to a list of sample process names for each of these 4 key functions. Now, while there's a template of process names for all of the functions, what we really encourage you to do is to think of what is unique to your business. How do you currently do things? Now let's go to the next step. Step number 4, you're going to link those processes that you've named to specific positions on your organization chart. And again, in doing this step, you are creating clear and measurable job descriptions for every position in your company. And you're creating complete functional accountability. You've defined all of the tasks that need to be accomplished. You've defined all of the positions that need to be filled in the company. And you've assigned all of those tasks to specific positions. So now you're confident that everything needs to be done and that everything that needs to be done has been assigned to a position who will do it. Quick word about job descriptions. I always love this one. When we're working with companies, I often ask them if they have job descriptions. And usually the answer is, yeah, we do, but not for every position. When I ask them, are they current? No, not really. And in fact, rarely are job descriptions current because they're usually only used for hiring. And once the position is hired, the job description gets filed away until a new employee needs to be hired for that position. And then they look around at the old job description and determine whether or not it's accurate because things have changed. The purpose for most job descriptions is for hiring. This is an example of a job description that we actually had, that I actually saw it from a client. A gorgeous high-tech endodontic practice in Saratoga, California is seeking a highly motivated, organized, enthusiastic individual. I mean, this is not what it's what most people call job descriptions, but it's really a hiring document. It's an ad for this position. What if a job description could be more of a position-specific operations manual? What if a job description was a set of instructions used to train, manage, and evaluate a new employee? And because it's used to evaluate the employee, both the employee filling the position and the manager of that employee tend to keep their eyes on it, and as a result, it stays current. And the processes on the position-specific manual, they stay current. In fact, they become these dynamic, fluid documents that grow and change organically in the business. I mean, imagine what would actually happen. If these tools were actually used, they tend to stay current organically, and it's easy to keep them up to date. If you recall back at one of the challenges I was citing earlier, it was this issue of how do you keep all these things up to date? Well, if it becomes this organic, dynamic, fluid document in your organization, it will stay up to date. Now, if you have position-specific manuals and you're actually using your organizational chart, when someone needs to know what to do, they simply find their position on your organizational chart. They click on it. When they click on their position, a list of all of their processes pop up. And if they want to know how to do one of those processes. They simply find one of those processes and they click on it, and a documented process pops up giving them the instructions on how they do what you need them to do with expectations. This is a very, very powerful way of doing this. I want to talk a little bit about how to do this in a Touchstone account. If you had a Touchstone registration, the tool that Russell spoke about earlier, first of all, when you're creating your vision, this is what it might look like when you first open up your Touchstone account. And the first step in the systems development plan, the systemization plan, is to create your vision. What you can do here is you can actually download processes from a library. You can grab these processes, put a checkbox there and click Save, and it will download these processes to your own Touchstone account. When you select it, you actually have a series of tools over on the side. It will say, watch this link, and then once you've watched the video, create a vision. And if you click each one of these, it will open up another work plan. These work plans are all listed over here, but it'll open up work plans to take you step by step through the process. After you've created a vision, create the strategic plan, which will help you stay on course towards achieving that vision. After you've created the strategic plan, what is your meeting rhythm? How often will you meet, and where, and for how long? I mean, we have some suggestions, but what you can do is you can come in here and you can edit these. We typically recommend that you have an annual planning meeting for a couple of days, that you have quarterly planning meetings for one full day. You have monthly planning meetings. You might even get down to 15-minute or 10-minute daily huddles. Once you've done that, you might have agendas. We even have sample agendas that you might use for each one of these types of meetings. This is what an agenda might be for an annual and quarterly meeting. This is what an agenda might be for a monthly or weekly meeting. So we have these processes in helping you to define your strategic vision. We even have forms that you can fill out where you can click into this form and you can ask yourself some questions like, how big will I be? How profitable will I be? How many employees will I have? You can go in here and you can just go through and answer these questions. They're fairly simple questions, and it will really help you to develop the vision that you need to grow and help you develop your strategic plan and your purpose, mission, and values. The next thing you'll do in Touchstone, following that 5-step systemization plan, is you'll create your organizational structure. What is the structure going to look like? And again, it's very simple. You can add positions. You can delete positions. Everything is drag and drop, so you can take, we give you a sort of a sample setup, but you can move these positions over here. You can toggle in and change the name. If you don't like Manager of Sales, you can come in here and change it to VP of Sales and Marketing. Whatever you want, you can completely customize your organizational chart. So now that you've got all of you've got your vision defined and you've got your organizational structure created, the next step is you're going to come in here to the 4 key functions and you're going to follow the template that we've got. So if we think about what we put in, remember someone said direct mail. Someone said presentations. So you're just going to come in here and you're going to do presentations. Presentations would be part of lead conversion, for example. Someone also said needs assessment. That's still popped up on my screen here. So needs assessment. All you're going to do is you're going to come in here and that would be part of what lead conversion as well. You just go in and you start naming your processes. Once you've named your processes, you can actually come up here and start downloading processes from our library. You say, oh yeah, we have a referral process, so let's put that in. And you can click all of these steps and download these processes that we've already defined for you. And you know, we've got sample work plans, and you can go step by step through the process of editing these or using them as is. So it's very powerful. You've now defined your vision. You've identified all of the processes in your business. You just go through these 4 key functions, and you've created your organizational structure. Now you're going to create a job description by selecting the position and just clicking on the processes that this person is responsible for. So we go here and we say, okay, they're going to do this and they're going to do that, and I click Save. And I'm going to start building the person's job description. So it's a very, very powerful step using Touchstone. But again, you could do this using Microsoft Word. You could do it using Dropbox or whatever it would be for you. In closing, process implementation, it's simple. It's really simple. It's not rocket science, but it isn't easy. How do you get your processes written? Here are a few ways. The first is you got to hire a new employee. You don't have the processes written. Have them write up the processes. So I hire you to be my salesperson, and I'm going to say, here's how you do a presentation. But what I want you to do is I want you to write down everything I'm telling you. And then I'm going to give you an hour later on today to write up what that process is. And you're going to write it all down. And now what will happen is they'll start going through the process. First of all, they're going to pay attention, right? Because you're actually telling them how to do it and what they need to do. And they know they're going to have to write it up, so they're going to pay attention. And then they're going to review it with you tomorrow. So think of how well trained they'll be. You're telling them how to do what they need them to do. You can be sure that they're paying attention because they know that they're going to be responsible for documenting what they're learning. Then they're writing it up. And then you're reviewing it with them the following day. You're engaging multiple sensory experiences, auditory, visual, kinesthetic, and you're repeating the process 3 times, once during training, once during writing it up, and the 3rd time during a review. And you're getting your process written as you do it. A second way is, how could you make a game so that you could bring all of the really good ideas to the surface? This was an example we did with a Century 21 agent. The problem they had is that 80% of their revenue was being generated by 20% of their agents. And it doesn't have to be that way. The 80-20 rule is all over business. What we did is we had a contest. He actually had, I think he had 25 real estate agents. And he had 5 top producers. These were the ones where he was getting all of the business from. So he took his top 5 producers and he made them captains of 5 different teams. And then he took the 5 greenest agents he had, the ones who were most, the rookies basically, the 5 rookiest people, and he assigned one of them to each team. And then he just took the rest of the agents and he just assigned them randomly on each of the teams. So he ended up having 5 teams of 5. The contest was to deliver the best listing presentation. He had 3 judges. It was himself, the owner, he had his father, who was the previous owner, and he had the owner of the title company that they used most frequently. They were given 3 weeks to come up with their presentations, and there were 2 rules. The presentation had to be less than 3 minutes long, and the presentation had to be delivered by the rookie, the greenest member of the team. Now, every team wanted to win because there was this great gift offered if you won the presentation. On the day of the presentations, there was tons of creativity. The presentations were done really well. There was all sorts of camaraderie, also competition. And the owner, Carl, he recorded every presentation. He took the recordings home over the weekend. He compiled a list of all the best points and he brought them back over the following 2 weeks, and he workshopped his team until every single one of them could do a fabulous listing presentation. And the result, his sales jumped exponentially because it was no longer 80-20. More work started happening. Every agent was more satisfied, more fulfilled because they were getting business. They knew how to do what they needed to do, and they were making more money. I mean, it was just a great situation. So I talked earlier about the importance of having a script. This was a script, and they all learned how to do it. Okay, so what I want to do today is I want to give you a couple of action steps. The first is I'd like to suggest you start systemizing your business by getting a free consultation with Russell. Russell's going to give you a free hour of consultation to help you start thinking about strategy, help you start thinking about organizational structure, whatever you want to work on relative to the 5-step process. The other step, I'd invite you to take a free Touchstone, either a free trial or a demo. And there are a couple of ways that you can do that. If you want to register for the free consultation, send an email to Russell. His email address is russelllookadoo@hrarchitecture.biz. Just put in the subject line, free 1-hour consultation. Or you can call him at 801-808-3681. If you'd like to register for a Touchstone demonstration, go to our website, businessdesigncorp.com. And when you get there, just click on this little button here, Get a Demo. And you'll be able to schedule yourself for a demo. There's no charge. There's no pushy salesperson. We're just going to give you a demo, show you what we can do. I want to wrap things up here with one final thought on the importance and value of having documented operating procedures for your business. The value of your company is not exclusively based on your annual revenues and your profitability. Those are key factors, but it's not what counts. It's also based on your processes. If the business is not duplicatable, the business cannot be brought to the next level. If the business is duplicatable, someone who's investing in your business can see their opportunity. They will invest in your business so that they can double it, triple it, 10 times it. If your company's processes are documented, when you're ready to sell, you just show them your processes. This is how we generate leads. This is how we convert leads into sales. This is how we deliver on the promise. It will maximize the value of your business. Paul Lemberg, he's the CEO of Quantum Growth Consulting. He reports that you can increase the value of your business by as much as 100% simply by systemizing it. And every system that you write for your business becomes an asset, and it adds value to your business and to anyone who's interested in purchasing your business. One final quote, I mentioned Scott Fritz. He wrote the 40-Hour Work Year, great book. And if anyone wants a PDF version of this book, just send me an email. I'll be happy to give you a PDF version. What Scott wrote is, he said, to me, the basic definition of a business owner is someone who can afford to hire an employee to do their job. Until you can afford to hire this person, you don't own a business, you own a job. I love that.
Michael, thank you very much for your time today, and attendees, thank you very much for taking time early in the afternoon on a busy Thursday. I look forward to hearing from each of you. I would love to meet you again or in person to talk about how we could possibly get you to that 40-hour work year, ready to sell your business, or at least to get your company where you want it to be. And the easiest way to get me, because my last name is like the Duke basketball coach almost, but go to thehrguy.biz, and there's a contact form there where I will respond quickly. Again, any questions? If not, Michael, I guess we're through for today.
Okay, great. Well, this is the completion of the presentation on how to systemize your business. And I just want to also say thank you to each and every one of you for attending. I hope it's been valuable. You'll be able to put to use what you've learned today. If you have any questions, feel free to contact either me directly or Russell. All of the content is right here on the screen. You can visit us on the web at businessdesigncorp.com, or you can call us at 707-522-6253. And everybody will have received by now, it's part of our system, everyone will have received an email that presents these two offers, the free hour and the free demo. So thank you again, and thank you, Russell. I really appreciate you setting this up for us. And welcome to everybody, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye now.